Hey, welcome back to the Bible Quiz Sports Network. It is Quincy and Austin and Nate.
Hello.
We're
Hey.
here, and we must begin today with several apologies. Number one, just so you know, my favorite animated movie is Wall-E, closely followed by somewhere.
Ooh.
It's favorite Pixar movie. Favorite animated is Emperor's New Groove, of course. But also, so I also love Big Hero 6. So if we call you robots, it's a compliment. And just in case anybody is confused, we know that quizzers are individual people with individual hopes and dreams, and we love them all. So just making that clear. Now, apologize for massacring a young man's name.
So my turn. I said Nathan Durr. I was trying to just get more content in less time, I think. But it's Nathaniel Durr is one of the new quizzers on Riven this year. I think he's been doing very well, like everyone on that team. So I apologize for the incorrect name there. I'm just going to say that I saw it as Nathan Durr on some stat page somewhere to make myself feel better, but I apologize.
And our fact checkers let us down. You know, the fact checkers that review our episodes let us down on that one. Nate, do you have anything to apologize for?
No, I don't have anything to apologize for.
It's funny that we apologize for massacring a name and calling people robots, but you have not apologized for calling a team low IQ quizzers.
I did that last episode.
You didn't apologize. Did you apologize? I don't think you. I think you doubled down.
No.
All right. Well.
I doubled down.
All right.
Now I'm tripling down.
Let's talk about.
As long as we're not dumb as rocks, because I've heard teams been called that before, and it's not very nice of them to do that. So.
All right. So let's talk about Tuesday's quizzing. What did we learn today? I heard that Third Day only got 1 second today, and they only have 2 seconds overall. So Third Day from Family Life is obviously a great team. I unfortunately did not get to see them quiz yet because I didn't get here for the day of quizzing yesterday when the team I follow played them. But I hear they're very good, and they were putting up some great scores. What else did you notice?
Well, with Third Day, I mean, they quizzed us against in the first day, and it was the first quiz of the day. You know, funny how first day it was Third Day, but it was actually. That's just the way it is.
Apparently,
But
they quiz on more than the third day.
Yeah, they were quizzing on the first day for some reason. But they quizzed us. We went to overtime with them for second and third place because Riven was also in that quiz. And so it was really close between us and them. But to hear that they went on to only take another second and the rest first for the whole round robin is pretty amazing. But they must have been very consistent throughout the day.
Yep. And speaking of Riven, they looked really sharp. They gave Revelation their second, so Rev had a second and a third for the round robin so far, all first besides that. And Riven, I think, had the same record.
I think so.
But gave us a second and looked pretty sharp doing it, did it very convincingly. So I think those are probably our top 3 seeded teams, but I would be happy to be surprised. There were a lot of teams putting up points, and that could really tip the scales on the bracket points.
Did we come to the conclusion that Warriors had a couple seconds as well, or 3?
Yeah, they were not undefeated yesterday, unashamed to beat them, so that's another apology. I guess that's 4 for us.
Are inaccurate statements. Fact checkers, get your stuff together.
Yeah, we quizzed Warriors today in Site 1, and we were able to beat them, and so it was definitely a second place for them today, so I'm not sure what their record overall would be. But one other team that I had definitely some eyebrows raised on was Unashamed over the last 2 days. I know the first day they were undefeated at 9-0-0, and then today they faced some stiffer competition and against teams like Messengers and Revelation and Riven, I believe, and so there was a little bit of a regression to the mean, but it was overall they had a really good round robin schedule from what I could tell. I think it was, what was their record then? 11-2 or 12-2-1, or 12-3-1, something like that. So that's really solid, though.
I think that's pretty similar to what Warriors ended up with. So I think, your top 5 is probably looking something like the 3 that we mentioned, Riven, Revelation, and Third Day, and then Unashamed, Warriors. I think Moxie will be up there too. Echo quiz very well too. I saw them take a couple of surprising firsts, and so not that they're a great team, but they took some firsts that maybe you wouldn't expect. So all those guys will be up there and around there. What about some of the middle teams that we don't always get to talk about? Some of the teams in the middle of the bracket. I saw Redemption today. I was very impressed with their quizzing. They're a good, disciplined team and really know their stuff. One of the things I always like to try to remind people, you can watch those first 3 sites tomorrow, the elimination tournament day, and see some really great quizzing. But if you back it down to the next 3 or 4 sites, you get to see some really quality quizzing, and you'll probably see more words come out. It's still super fast, but you'll see maybe a little bit more words come out, and that to me makes a more pleasant viewing experience in a lot of cases. And so I think about teams like Redemption. I think about teams like Dead BC, Chosen. Those are some of the teams I saw today. Supernova, who I follow. Those are all those kind of teams that'll be right around there, just quizzing all day and putting up some really great quizzes.
Yeah, one team I'd like to kind of give a shout out to, but also take note of for tomorrow is Sharkbait. They had a pretty rough first day, and I think they win the award for most improved day over day in the round robin. They had 3 firsts today after none yesterday, and so they're probably kind of sitting at that somewhere, bottom of that next 8 in the bracket, knocking on the door, looking to crack the top half tomorrow, I think, and they could do it with the quizzing that I've seen from them this today.
Oh, I thought Nate was going to say something. I also
Trying to breathe over here.
Valiant. I saw today. I liked what I saw there too. There, almost anywhere you look, there's teams that have great quizzers on them, and quizzers that are trying real hard and figuring out things. A lot of times you kind of, if it's your first time, you kind of keep your head down for the first couple of days, and the final day of the tournament comes, and you're like, all right, I think I understand this a little bit more, and I'm going to go for it. What do you guys notice as far as individual quizzers go? Any names stand out to you?
I mean, obviously, everybody from Riven has a lot of material. They know it really well. The tough thing about that is there's a lot of team competition, and you see that on Rev as well and some of these other top teams. And it's hard to know sometimes which quizzers are the ones who are going to, be getting the 80-point average or the 70-point average instead of the 50 or the 60 or something like that, right? But there's definitely some, prices. Elijah Price is somebody who stood out in our quiz. Noah Monington there. Some of those other teams that have some stars lifting them. I know Third Day, as we mentioned, maybe another top 3 team right now. Luke Sortor is probably their top quizzer. He's got 3rd last year individually, I think, so I expect him to be up there again this year.
I believe his full name is Lucathy.
Yeah. I abbreviate them. I don't add more, okay?
Luke, I know your name. I'm just making fun. I'm curious, Austin. Do you see anyone from Revelation possibly being in the top 7 or top 14 from your team?
Joel Pendergast and Jonathan Campy and Brendan Thompson have kind of been, as the time goes on, trading back and forth our top score spots. And I think they're all within striking distance. It's going to be probably depending on how tomorrow goes for each of them.
There's a quizzer on Astonish, too, that we wanted to mention. I don't know if you remember her name.
Syrian?
Yeah. I was really impressed there today, too. Yeah, and the thing that's interesting is this year, with only 33 teams, you have to be in the top 11 to be in the top 7. So I wonder if that will give some quizzers who are on the upper tier teams a chance to make the top 7 when they might not usually have quite got the average for it. But also there will probably be some quizzers in that 10th through 11th spot who sneak on that we may not be thinking about. All the teams that I kind of mentioned in that middle period are teams that could sneak into that spot, and all of them usually have a quizzer or two that's pretty dominant quizzer and could certainly quiz on teams like Riven and Revelation if they were on those teams. And, so being on a team where your whole team is kind of maybe working their way towards that, not quite there yet, you might be able to put up a little bit better average. So you kind of see those quizzers take some of those spots. So that'll be fun to see. And I know, having coached and been on a lot of those type of teams, it becomes a team award when you see somebody from your team, your best quizzer, get an individual award in the top 7 or top 14. It's like, hey, we all were a part of that because we got into the top third, we got into the top half, and we're very excited for our guy or girl that's made that happen. So looking forward for that happening for those teams.
Yeah, I mean, and if you also think about it too, is we had a different number of quizzes this year for round robin. We had 16 instead of 18, so it's a little bit different as far as the total points go. So you get to the Wednesday bracket quizzing, and let's say a team only has maybe 6 or 7 quizzes for that day, and then they're done. Well, 7 quizzes is a pretty good percentage of the 21 total quizzes that they would have had.
Right.
So it's very possible that if you have a really good Saturday and maybe your team is in the lower couple of sites and you have an individual that scores high in those in those quizzes, there's a chance that maybe they'll finish in the top 22, and that will enable them to qualify for a top 14 trophy. So I think it's pretty wide open. And just segue that a little bit over to the bracket itself that we're going to be having tomorrow. For the first time in I don't know how long, every team is eligible starting out of making the championship. And that has not been the case in years past, partially due to number of teams we've had. But I think it's a really good thing to have, people having, maybe they had a rough round robin, and now that no matter where they start on Wednesday, it's really weird saying Wednesday instead of Saturday.
It is.
But they have a shot at the championship no matter where they start tomorrow
Yeah,
morning.
that's great. Yeah, that's why I'll be wearing my University of Maryland Baltimore County hat tomorrow for the 16 seed that upset the 1, those Retrievers. Also, if you have your St. Peter's Peacock hat, tomorrow's a good day to wear it if you're fans of the NCAA basketball tournament. If you're not, you have no idea what I said. Well, anything else?
We got you.
Thanks. Anything else that we want to note as we head into Wednesday, artists formerly known as Saturday?
Well, tonight we'll find out from the powers that be what the seedings will be going into the bracket tomorrow morning. So it'll be
Orland's in his lab right now.
Yeah, he's they're prognosticating probably and trying to flip coins to see how to break ties.
I've been part of one of those before. Ever tell you that story?
No, I
I was
haven't.
at a fist fight. No, not really. Just kidding. Shout out to Craig Morris. Yeah, we flipped the coin over which team was going to be in which spot before.
Nice.
So, yeah.
No, I just think that a lot of these teams look really sharp. A lot of teams have put up some gaudy scores, gaudy records. Like we've talked about, the top 5, 6, 7, 8 are pretty tight. Anything can happen. And I think one of the most interesting things for this year that is more true than other years is how much Quizmaster is going to impact each quiz.
Oh, boy.
When
Yeah.
you're reading that longer reference, if somebody reads faster or slower, depending on what a team is used to, and how they handle that 3-team quiz where there's 3 teams all at the same level. And that doesn't go just for the top 8. That goes for everybody in the
Right.
whole entire bracket, right?
Yeah.
So how can you adjust to the Quizmaster going from quiz to quiz? And the round robin is totally different than the bracket, right? Are you
Yeah.
built as a bracket team? And that's going to decide really who comes out on top and exceeds expectations going into this bracket, in my opinion.
Yeah, and not only how quickly they're able to adjust from quiz to quiz, but within a quiz too, even because there is a little bit of a learning curve sometimes in these quizzes where you come from a certain quiz master that maybe reads slower, and you have to really be deliberate with your jump. But then you move to a new quiz, and the quiz master reads incredibly fast and perhaps even leaks a few words every now and then. And so you just really have to, as coaches, let's say we're all coaches here from time to time, that we have to really try to communicate and observe the quiz master that we have for that quiz and communicate that to our quizzers as best we can. So it's very important that we get that figured out here early on in the quizzes, because 2 or 3 questions starting off the quiz can make the difference, because 2 or 3 questions at the beginning of a quiz are worth just as much as 2 or 3 questions at the end of the
Yeah.
quiz.
And then the last thing I'd like to say about that is we have a new crew or group of Quizmasters coming on, I think, and that's been happening the last couple of years, but several new ones this year. and it's been a really solid quiz mastering
yeah.
year, I think, for that. And some of the complaints or issues quizzers might have had in past years, I'm not really seeing a lot of that for all across the board. And it's just been very. Thank you, table officials, quiz masters, timekeepers, scorekeepers, for your time. It's been wonderful having you all, and you've been doing a great job. Keep that up.
I agree. Yep, everybody's been having a great tournament. Great job, Orland and everybody, and we're looking forward to the last day. Thanks for watching.